What's going on, fellas, ladies, gentlemen? I was just on Queen's live and I was talking about melanin, and then it just froze. I think she had bad reception. She was also driving. I don't think that's a great combo when it comes to lives. I tried doing that, didn't end well. Ring the ghouls away. I like that one. Ring the ghouls away. That's a good one. Yeah. Breathing and exhaling 528 hertz. So wanted to hop on here and share my quantum session with Dr. James Cottrell. Check your DM pertaining melanin. Okay, I will. Yeah, if some of you were on that live, what do you guys think about the whole melanin? I think I want to do definitely a deeper topic with her, and maybe we'll go live and talk about that. It's a great topic. I like her perspective as well on it, and yeah, the more you start to focus on they say follow the money, but if you follow the melanin, it starts to make more sense too. Follow the melanin. Melanin is worth more than gold these days. I like to say human life is worth more than gold as well. Let's not let's just not just think about melanin here, but let's not forget the human soul as well, right? Follow the melanin. Yeah. Follow the melanin. Yeah, send me the video for sure. Alright, so yeah, the last live went out. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing here, I'm going to show you guys the video that I took live, by the way. And this was after we turned on the scaler for the very first time. The very first time we turned on the scaler, and then we woke up, and then boom, we had this literally outside of our window. So you can literally go in my IGTV page, scroll down, and you'll find the exact video I'm about to play right now. And so you're not skeptical. This was live, and I started seeing UFOs about 3 years ago on this whole journey. And you definitely feel like an energetic presence. I feel them way more now, more than ever, especially being on this journey for so long. And growing up, I was skeptical about UFOs. I was, even in the conspiracy days, like I was more focused on like government stuff and why are they doing this, why are they doing that. And I stumbled upon it a little bit, but I didn't really, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I was at that type of mindset. And now I'm seeing it more than ever, and I'm really happy I can share it with you guys. This was live, by the way. Live.
Yes, what is this? They're coming towards this way.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll sample.
Oh no, they're getting far.
Follow the dots. You'll see them. They're like more like here. hint of a rainbow. I don't know if you guys can see that. I just realized it watching this video. It's like a little hint. Those that are just joining, just watch the first part of it. You can like clearly see they're all right there.
Yes, what is this?
They're all right there.
They're coming towards this way.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's wild. When we left our place and we came back, it was the only place that, because it was cloudy for a reason. It looked like it was going to rain. But it was the only place that had a circle, like a halo of clouds that's around it. It was wild, because that place needed it, where we used to live. And here's the other video.
Where do you see them? What? Yeah, let me see if I can put my finger in there. What? Oh, sorry guys.
Follow the black orb.
Ships.
No, your finger.
Okay, I'm on my fingers. What? Is that a third one coming into
That's
them?
an airplane.
Oh, that's the airplane. What?
Yeah, you can clearly tell the difference of like that was something else and
That's
the
trippy.
airplane.
You see how they're like.
You can't zoom in anymore.
Shape-shifting.
Yeah, they're shifting. They're like shape shifting for sure.
Wow. Now I want to share the audio of when I did the session with Dr. James Cottrell, and a quick backstory on Mr. Cottrell. He was one of the few people out there in the world that there was only a handful of people that literally predicted, unfortunately, what happened in 9/11 and stuff like that. And this person has also helped law enforcement with his gifts in the sense of using quantum resonance of being. You can call him a channeler if you want, and you can call him, honestly, you can call him a quantum library, so to speak. And he's more of a medium. And by the way, this guy's Christian, by the way, too. This guy's a born-again Christian man. And I don't want to go too much in his backstory, but there's a whole in-depth backstory of how he got into it. And he saw how real it was and how powerful it was. He even did a book, an audio book about Jesus, and it was really interesting. So I'm going to share when I did this session with him yesterday, and I'm actually going to do another one before I go to Egypt, because he did answer some really powerful questions I had about Egypt. All right, I think this is the one. Now, the first time we got introduced to Scalar, the next day we started seeing UFOs, and a couple months ago we also saw orb-like UFOs as well. Is the Scalar amplifying our communication with them already? And if so, is there any clear messages these beings or people who are piloting these UFOs are giving straight to me?
Think of it this way. You are causing a disturbance. You have sent up a flare. You are waving a flag. You are standing on a podium waving your hands in the air. This is what you have commenced. And those passers-by, shall we call them, those corporal and incorporeal beings, are taking notice of your disturbance or your intention to communicate. The first is curiosity. The second is validation that you might be able to communicate with them. But it can be considered like someone speaking one language and several people nearby who are unable to speak the same language. There is some curiosity, some seeking to understand what is being said, but great difficulty in comprehending what is being said due to the lack of culture, the lack of values, and of course the inability to interpret the speech. Understanding it in that manner, although it is simplified here, it would be to comprehend that these that would be in the next dimension, or in that of a higher rate of dimension, or that would be in different locations within this space continuum, that you have caused a ripple, a rift, a curiosity, and as you are attempting to communicate with them, understand that you are attempting to use is thought. Therefore, you don't have to explain the thought, mull over the thought, or attempt to verbalize the thought. There is just the thought. This is difficult to comprehend because humans, as you know, humans usually create a thought and then attempt to express the thought by verbiage and interpret the thought through the use of verbiage, which allows for incomplete expression of thought, miscommunication of the thought, and even erroneous interpretation of what was being said. Therefore, in learning how to communicate more specifically, it is to learn how to control the thoughts and express the thoughts in such a way that you are communicating to everyone and to a single mind at the same time. It takes a little contemplating on how to comprehend that you are speaking to everyone, and as though you are speaking to everyone, you are still speaking to one who is receiving and directing the thought, interpreting it, if you will. Therefore, to the question, in order to communicate to the higher minds, it is to think of what you want to communicate rather than to use verbiage of what you wish to communicate. Be direct. And then there would be more curiosity. What is your purpose? What is your desire, aim, or goal in communicating with those who would be somewhat seeing the self as less developed and handicapped with communication issues, being unfamiliar with your own mind? How would you communicate with them? Well, take that as to an example of a pet and how a pet communicates with its master. Until there is a communication between the pet and the master with simply a look, a gesture, or some movement, the master gets to understand what the pet wants, and the pet understands what the master wishes the pet to do. When you get to that point of communication, it is unspoken, but it is somewhat, let's call it, directed. Then you have the same basis for what you are attempting to understand here. To be able to get past values, to get past the point of thinking what you're going to say and how you're going to say it, to the point of just simply saying it without guarding your thoughts, without being critical, arbitrary, or, let us say, condemning of anything. It takes a powerful mind to be so innocent and open. But that is exactly what has happened, what is needed. and how communication through this level of mind will take place. Guard your thoughts, yes. Be benevolent, yes. Be specific. And as such, communication will be amplified or enhanced. These are intelligent beings. Comprehend too directly that of the confusing and contradicting thoughts of the human mind. In this understanding, the way to improve communication is to improve the mind, so that there is a simplistic way of communicating in visionary terms. This will take a little re-education, of course, but it is done every day in dreams or meditations or visions along that same line. Pictorial display is the ancient language that is carved into stones and temples and hieroglyphs and writings. Even that of the Mandarin Chinese uses symbols that represent items, people, and movement. Even though they are read as words, they are actual symbols of actions taking place. Inside a house, under a dome, outside a house, outside the dome, for instance. However, you are attempting to touch upon that of the ancient wisdoms and the ancient ways of communicating. As we have just delineated here, it would be to understand images, for one picture is worth 1,000 words, as they say. And understanding that power that you are attempting to touch upon and are indeed in the right direction. Mastering this will enhance any communication between that of orbs, in that of the next dimension, and that of the visitations of those off-world beings who are fully comprehending what is going on, but don't seem to be able to have a reception all that often with individuals such as yourself. See the difference? Direction.
Now, we have what we're calling scalar stickers with our...
Oh, well. Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? So, yeah, Dr. James Cottrell. What's going on? It's funny. I am the sound god. There's actually a guy on TV that went live with a live news broadcast, and he actually summoned a UFO, and he was very melanated, if you will. My friend Tommy, he showed me that one. Really, these if I lived in a place like Africa or the remote places of Costa Rica or the in-depths of Mexico, I would have went to a certain elder. And most tribes, keyword most, they do have a particular elder that specialize in stuff like that, just like him. So, yeah, I mean, in hindsight, if you really think about it, we're communicating to ourselves. And what do I mean by that? Well, I could have chose not to have this communication and ask him certain questions, right? So you could look at it as, you can say, your higher self, so to speak, reflecting right back at you in a sense. In hindsight, you are talking to yourself. So it's a whole interesting conundrum, but it all depends on how you want to play the human game. I guess I can also share what he said about, let's see. This one.
Ago, we also saw orb-like UFOs.
No, not that one. Might be this one.
What does subliminal alchemy breathwork?
That one.
Now I also put the picture of my.
Well, he did say something interesting about the kimono. If you guys want to hear about the, because a lot of people ask, no choice, a lot of questions about the scaler, and it's like, I don't get it. So he's gonna go over what I asked him about putting the kimono onto the scaler in this one. I think it is this one.
Now I also put the picture of my kimono brand on the scaler as well. So, does each of the kimonos out there in the world, will they also be receiving the scalar frequencies?
Like attract like. And what is given here as the intention of thought, then affirmative, this would be somewhat in conjunction with those that would be receptive and similar. Understand both the speed, the power, and the intensity. It's not diluted across time and space. But if there is harmony, it is like a tuning fork being struck, and a stationary tuning fork nearby would begin to vibrate at the same frequency as the first, because that is transmitted through the air, the frequency, is causing the second tuning fork to ring or to be in harmony with itself. Think of it in that manner or way, that there is one tuning fork that is being struck and several others in the peripheral area, and they naturally resonate because the frequency or vibration is causing them to resonate, move, or vibrate. In this way, you understand the power of thought and the power of resonance, he'll say. If this is the question, yes, other influences in harmony with or associated with the original influence or generator automatically pick up that is being sent. And what is being sent is received, and what is received duplicates that has been received and continues to send itself, you'll say. The same influence, vibration, or frequency, direction.
That was about the kimonos. If you don't know, we actually took a picture of the kimono and actually just placed it on the scaler. We also put both of our brands connected into the scaler as well. So I want to go over, let's see, which one is it?
What does subliminal alchemy breathwork music
Let's see what he has to say about
have on the body?
Each and every cell has a filament within the same. Examine that of Delaware's work and you would understand that the filament in the cell is influenced by frequency. Experiments dealing with lightning or electrical spark, which broadcasts an array of frequencies, as does lightning. You then come to the comprehension, as did Delaware, that the cells, when they become diseased, slow down. And as they come to some greatly reduced vibration, they approach that as to time for replacement or death. This is going on in each and every form or body, even at this moment in time. The cells are being replaced. The cells that are degrading or have lost their vibrational integrity or vitality, if you might call it that. Therefore, any form to boost the frequency, to have it return to normal, or whatever their frequency would be at normal frequency or vibrational rate, then you have perfect health. When you have sound or music or creation of vibration upon the body, both in that of the visible light and invisible light, then you have an effect upon a cell. Taking care, the lower vibrations cause bone to grow. The higher vibrations cause skin to deteriorate. If there is not containment or understanding of this, then the self would cause the bones to grow and the skin to deteriorate and be somewhat of the monster. Therefore, the intention is, as you are experimenting, as you are approaching that of the greater understanding, that the vibrational frequency of each and every cell, if it is at harmony or within the realms of the vibrational rate, then it is in good health, and the body is prolonged in good health and can live for longer periods of time, which has occurred in the past. Therefore, that of the frequency generating devices are beneficial for that. That would be the vibrational rate. For someone who is sick, the vibrations to be improved. For somebody that is anxious, the vibration to improve might mean a subliminal or relaxing or reduction of the frequencies. That is why relaxing music has an effect upon a body that is hostile or angry, and why music that is upbeat and uplifting has an effect upon someone who is depressed, bringing them back to a point of enthusiasm. It is not the music tune, it is the frequency of the music affecting the cell at the vibrational level or at the retina within each and every cell.
Breath has its own frequency.
Vibrating at the same proper level continues to keep an operation, keep its integrity, and therefore live longer. Unfortunately, those influences that do not tend to whittle down, weaken, and ultimately cease to vibrate, and death occurs, you'll say. Direction, little.
Breath itself has its own frequency. And then I guess for next session I really want to be very direct and more specific about that. Didn't get a chance to ask about the the frequency breathers. One of the questions I asked, like, hey, where's the nearest geological place that I can actually go to that is quote unquote inner earth and there's a living civilization, so to speak? And he gave me coordinates to Brazil, actually. All right. And then there's this one.
Playing music inside the scalar, does it have any amplifications of whoever is broadcasting the same exact music? Because we use subliminal breathwork music and it's being streamed on YouTube. Or if any artists were to send in their music, does scalar amplify the resonance of their music in a healthy way?
Affirmative.
I thought I was going to get a really in-depth answer about that one. But yeah, what do you guys think? And if anybody wants to hop on live, yeah, you're more than welcome to. Makes sense because a child woke up very short, so maybe that is the fire. Who's the guy that summoned the UFO? Oh, I gotta look in my history. But yeah, if you guys are just joining, that was me talking to Dr. James Cottrell, and he is, you can call him a quantum channeler, you can call him a quantum medium, and he basically pulls. There was an interesting part where I asked him about Tesla, and I was like, hey, can you locate the mind? So if you're looking to, he doesn't communicate with the dead. It's more in the sense of he's streamlining from, you can call it the Akashic Records or the quantum, however you want to describe it in that sense. And it was very interesting feedback on that one. So I think we can tap into about the stickers. I'll share the one with the stickers because the stickers is very interesting in itself, and it also pointed us at now we just need to really focus on being the receiver. But in hindsight, I'm still going to put it on the 5G towers. But let's listen to the stickers.
What does subliminal alchemy?
No, that's not the one. Stickers. This might be it.
Now, I also put the picture of my kimono.
Stickers, where are you?
What does subliminal alchemy?
Oh,
Now, the first time.
I know what I did. All right, I definitely didn't. I didn't screen record that one. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. I heard it towards the end. All right, where can I listen to the square word music or profound sound healing in general? I use YouTube currently. Subliminal alchemy breathwork music. Just go on my YouTube. It's all there. You'll find some of it. If you want the whole library, then join the Breath Family Members group or do either a 3-month or a 1-year with me. You get the Breath Family Members group for free. We also do your own scalar sessions for free as well. I think you'll get like 3 if you do the whole year with me. You'll just get 1 if you do 3-month with me. So yeah, you can hop on. If anybody wants to hop on, you're more than welcome to. Hop on in. This is raising my vibration considering the Ukraine stuff. Thank you for this, Andrea S. Soul. Much love, sister. Right, view requests.
Brother
Greetings,
Devon,
brother.
how are you, man? Yeah,
It's
it's
been a while.
it's been a while. It's been a while. Much love here from Costa Rica.
Much love, brother. Did you catch the other guy
Who?
that was from Costa Rica? He was down here.
Ignacio,
I don't know
maybe.
his
Yeah,
name, but he was on. Oh, you
he
know him?
actually
Okay.
started breathwork with me, and of course I linked him up. You know, like, yo, this is the guy who taught me about alchemy breathwork. This is the guy, like, you know. So yeah. I don't know if
Fire.
he asked you this, but
Yeah.
lately, I'm gonna be honest, okay? But lately, there's something happening to the people holding their breath actually in the exhale too. You know, like, I've been reported that a lot of people have been like feeling dizzy or even passing out after holding the breath, not only in the inhale, but on the exhale too. So I wanted to ask you, you know, you're a pioneer and that you practice this daily, you know, what is the cause behind of that, or what do you feel? Because I feel there's some shedding too, you know, like some esoteric parasite, like being purged or something like that, or making the unconscious conscious, you know. So there's like a defense mechanism. I wanted to ask you, what is your, what are your feels on this?
Well, from what you're telling me, Could be shedding. The are you referring to a particular part of the world, or this is
I
more
mean,
like
from
from
different
different
people,
people from
actually,
all
from
over?
different people from all over the world. Actually, right now it's like I don't know why, but people from Argentina, a lot of people from Argentina have been telling me this. Like, and mostly
Mm.
the ones that go very deep. Like, for example, that I've been asking you about tumo from a long time ago, and you always told me, like, I mean, it has its beneficial things, but I really don't practice it that much. And I've been like going deep into the tumo, showing the people tumo, but after a lot of sessions, but even with some holdings with the, for example, 369s or stuff like that, they've been telling me, like, I passed out, man, like, just like that. And I have passed out. I have passed out, especially after doing like just urine fast. I did a breath hold, and it was just 10 seconds in, and I completely like projected out of my body, but I know that I'm going very deep into it. And it was like, yo, I just woke up. I was on the floor, and it was like, yo, this was heavy, like, this was heavy. But after that, I didn't freak out, because I felt that it was like a reset, maybe a reset of my nervous system. And after that, the breath work felt like I level up. That's what I have been trying to say to these people, is that don't get afraid of it, that it is like a new level. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on this. That's why I'm asking you. That's why I wanted to know if you have passed out too, and if it is normal, like.
uh, I've passed out in the beginning of the journey with the breath holds, for sure. On more on the inhales and the exhales, if anything, because the exhales create that hunger. But from what you're telling me, you
No, me
have
no.
passed out
Me
on the
personally, no. No,
exhales
no, no.
too.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay,
Just
okay, yeah.
holding the breath, like, that's when all the psychedelic effects may happen. But even in the exhales, I've been appreciating visuals and stuff. But I personally feel more like a high, or like an astral projection from holding my breath on the top, on the inhale. But yeah, that's when that.
Yeah, that's well, with the inhale, when you're holding the inhale, the rise of cortisol, and not just cortisol, obviously, but the rise of certain chemical factors will get you to feel certain resonance of being. Now, for some people hold both. They go back and forth, right? And in a sense, it's like you're still shocking the body in that sense, and that's what is causing the passing
Okay,
out in that sense.
okay. So, but it is.
Yeah, because at that point you're forcing. Specifically, you know why the inhale hold does that. The inhale hold does that when because you're forcing, you're creating a certain external pressure on certain organs, to secrete
Boom.
that combustion,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Pure fire.
uh,
It's like
in
pure
the
fire,
body.
what you feel.
In a sense, yes. In a sense, yes. And too much of that pressure, though, uh, in a sense, because if you really look at it, that's not your true organ alignment. When think about it like this, when you have that external pressure on your organs, can you honestly say that's your true alignment? Not really. It's when you're exhaling, that's when your organs internally, though, not the organ itself, but I'm talking about the internal side of the organs, can finally like
Of course.
compress outward. And that's when the alignment really starts to
Okay.
take shift.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. The only thing that, for example, for me, in my opinion, like, and on my feels, when I push, like, the belly button, when I do the, how can I say, the pot belly, I think it is called the pot belly, when I do it, and when I release, I feel like there's some, like for example, like everything you said, like you said before, everything is pushing. You know, everything is breath. Like everything is pushing and pushing back. So when I really push like the belly and I completely exhale, I feel there's like a more profound release. But I know that things don't have to be forced. You know, so it makes sense to me. It really makes sense to me. But what I want to ask you is this: should people be afraid of passing out? Is it dangerous? Is it something that they may look out? Because look, Devon, look. I've been following like your work, and you know that I really admire your work and everything. And the first session we did, you actually taught me Tumu. You know, like silent Tumu. You know, like, and it was great. And I practiced it, and
Silent tumor,
after that,
yes.
I was like, okay, crazy. And a year after, you started saying no breath holds, and I want to ask, yeah, and I really want to
On
ask
the
you
inhale.
this: is it because people was passing out and they were telling you like, yo, Devon, I'm passing out, what is this shit? Like,
No, I just really wanted to create more of a single focus. And there's also the other aspect of people were coming to me because they wanted to
yeah,
just get high, and in that sense. And the goal, obviously, the goal shouldn't be that. The goal should be a deeper intention than just getting high off your own supply. In that sense, the goal should be, I'm doing this to grow in that sense. And how do I create a deeper focus on those pillars? And that stems from the exhale, because the exhale, that's 100% you. There's no external factors, because when you inhale, your body has to process all the external information in that sense. So when you exhale, more energy is going towards internal communication and more expressiveness within
okay,
the internal resonance.
perfect, nice. So to conclude, is it dangerous? Is it dangerous? Is it normal? Is it
I wouldn't say it's normal. Think about it like this. It's like I don't want to put it like that. I don't want to say cortisol junkies on people who hold the inhale. I don't want to say that, but
I'm what you're
in
saying is
general,
stress. People are addicted to stress, which is actually real, you know? So yeah, it is like that.
yeah, yeah, when people are stressed, when people have anxiety in general, what
Yeah.
do? They hold the breath anyway. So in my opinion, I'm like, why? Okay, then why don't we just shift focus and go straight to the point of, instead of just hurtling over back and forth. Especially when I was dealing with people who have issues trying to let go of cigarettes and smoking in general, and they say, "Oh, I tried breathwork this." I'm like, "Well, most of the time you've been holding your breath. So what do you think when you're doing when you're inhaling the smoke? You're taking external, and you're exercising that factor of just being. So why not practice and breathe life into where you need less? You need less, and it might be wild the way I'm saying it in terms of breathe less to feel more. What I really mean is focusing more on the exhales, of course, to cause a deeper, more efficient way when you're taking that inhale. It goes to deeper parts of your body the more you focus on the exhales in that sense versus overstressing the body on the inhales, because it does take a toll over time. You may not, a lot of people may not realize it, but you look at certain practices that they've been doing years and years and years, and you see like, oh, you would think the opposite, like, oh, you've been doing this practice for so long, you shouldn't be looking the way you look. What's happening here? You know? So that's why I really focus on the parasympathetic style, and really focusing on internal resonance and internal communication, but
Nice,
also internal
nice,
expression.
and that's something I really like admire, you know, because yeah, it's definitely felt, you know, in your sessions and exercises. So thank you so much for that. And just another thing, like for example, so in your opinion, Tumo is not parasympathetic breathwork, huh? Like at all.
It can be.
Okay.
It can be. It can be if
Yeah,
you
because
shift the focus
what I
of it.
was going to share is that when I do like the that whole cycle, you know, like the 18 or 21, depending on the sounds I'm chanting or hekawing, I feel like a deep activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, like for 4 hours. You know, even holding the breath after that, my breath is so gentle and the exhale is so gentle and so long that that's when I say like I don't know, like I don't know what to think about it, you know, like. But when people and clients personally are passing out from holding the breath and freaking out, that's when I was like, okay, I really got to go deep into this, you know, because it happened to me. I didn't take it like that. It happened to my girlfriend, which it was actually very crazy because she really hurt her nose. And it was actually not after
Mm.
Tumu. We were doing something else. It was not alchemy breathwork neither, but we were doing some nasal breathwork from these guys, Akahi and Camila. I guess you know them. Uh, and it was like 2 years ago. And she just
Yeah.
stood up and she like took a deep breath and she stretched, and when she stretched she just went like whoop, and I was so scared.
Mm.
But after that it never happened again, and it has never happened to me again. So I wanted to make sure with you, like, for example, people should not be scared of experiencing that, right? Like how I say, I think it is like a level of
No, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be scared. Like holotropic breath work. Unfortunately, a lot of people, in my opinion, in a way, is abusing it because even the founder of it created it in a sense where you're only supposed to do it. You're only supposed to do it a particular day, whatever day that is, just one day, and then you integrate. You journal. You're not supposed to do it every day, every day. See, it's so wild when you look at it. It's quick to gain power, and it's also quick to lose all that power as well. Just as fast as you rise, it's as fast as you go
clearly.
down.
Yeah, clearly. So yeah, because the, like, for example, one one chick really freaked out, and she started saying to me like, "Yo, I can even demand you for this. You know, like if I really hurt myself, I will demand you for this." And I was like, and she even told me like, I spoke to a nervous system specialist, and he told me that my nervous system collapsed, and I was like, wait, your brain collapsed? Like your brain collapsed?
Yes, your
It's
body is protecting itself, and shoot, there it is. When even in the even doing the Wim Hof, they have clinically proven your nervous system turns off and turn on again. In what world do I want to turn my nervous
yeah,
system off anyway? Like what? I don't care how beneficial it is. At the end of the day, why do I want to turn it off? Why not create certain stress factors where no matter how small it is, but at least over time it gets gradually bigger and I can handle certain things, but I don't have to turn it off. It's just like going back and forth with something as simple as the heat and the cold going back and forth. When you do that, you don't actually have to turn off your nervous system. Your nervous system um, gets to the close point of turning off, but it's not going to turn off when you go back and forth to hotter and cold climates. And they're coming out with more studies like this, and I'm really pumped for that because I love doing that. Versus just sticking with the cold, and then your nervous system turns off, and then you try to recalibrate and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, it's more beneficial to go in both stress factors because that's what the body does naturally anyway. The body heats up and the body cools down. So why not harmonize with it back and forth? And when you do that, you know, you really feel that expansion versus I've done the cold bath therapies. I've done when I used to live in Jersey when it was wintertime. I would be shirtless, walking around, going back and forth. And then, I took it up another level where I'll be walking around and then I actually go take a hot shower and then come back out to go take a hot shower. And I felt even more benefits that way versus just dipping in the cold and sitting there in a sense. Because it's like energy likes to move. In the cold in general, energy is somewhat stagnated. No matter how you look at it, cold stagnates energy. The heat heats up energy and expands it back and forth. So it's like you're doing, I like to look at it, it's like you're wringing out a sponge with a lymphatic system when you go
I
back
mean,
and forth.
it's actually
Ice
like a
cold.
complete
I mean,
inhale or a
ice
complete exhale. Like, yeah, yeah. Nice,
exactly.
nice, nice. Okay, I
Exactly.
really get it now, but yeah, like, maybe I be, yeah, I gotta be more like attentive, put more attention to that because it really freaked people out, like for real. So
Yes, yeah, I've met people who have trauma from doing certain breath works. So, that was also my thing too. I'm like, well, shoot, this is doing the
yeah,
complete
that
opposite of
yeah that
what it's intended. So, and some of these technologies, like Tumo itself, it was made for adapting in certain climates because the think about it, survival, the aspect of the survival mind, right? And that's where that type of breath work fortunately stemmed from the survival mindset. And when you look at certain places in Africa and how hot Africa is, certain villagers, and you may have seen a crazy wild video out there. I need to really find it, but you'll find videos of shamans like floating in the air, like dancing with their feet kicking up
whoa.
on top of the fire. So what do you think that is? You don't really see that too much in cold climates. So it goes to show you like the heat. There's some energetic aspect of what the heat really provides in the atmosphere for those shamans or those people to really cultivate and utilize for
Yeah,
themselves, right? So, at one point in time before certain catastrophes, all the world places was combined into one space. Some people look at Africa and it was literally in the middle of the equator. It was hot. It was a point in time around those times. And actually, there are certain places in cold places you'll actually find African animals that were fossilized and frozen. And why is that? Because they couldn't survive out in the cold. So it goes to show you that once upon a time, all the countries were together and we were living
yeah,
in a hot space. No matter where you went to, even if you went to I don't know,
yeah,
Alaska or something, it was still hot up
yeah.
there
Like,
around
I
those
mean, I
times.
think it was called Pangea. Like, that's how they call it inside. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Pangea, yeah.
So yeah, like for me, I took it like that, and I also asked Taylor, because of course I learned from him about the tumo, and he was like, he went more like into the esoteric part, and he told me that probably it was like shedding a parasite, and it made I connected with that too because, for example, I don't know if you remember, I told you that I came from a lot of ayahuasca and entheogens, and when people get possessed, when people get like possessed or they're shedding or purging the parasite, and it becomes personified, the person turns to go in an unconscious way. It really goes unconscious. Okay, and the nervous system collapse. I have seen people really collapsing, like stuff like that, and
Yep,
it made
yeah.
sense. So I wanted to touch a little bit that part with you, like in the esoteric part. What do you think is happening? Of course, like for example, as within so without. You were talking about the war, and there's a war, of course, going mostly in most of the people inside of themselves, that they're not even know and they're not even conscious
Hmm.
about it, and it can be very traumatic if they look into that like
Hmm.
the first time they go in. So I really think that it is also like mechanism, defense mechanism of our own consciousness, don't you think? Or no?
Well, yeah, going back to, you know, the physical and the if you want to call it
No, yeah,
esoteric,
yeah, yeah.
they still go hand in
I
hand
know, I know.
together,
You made it. You made it clear for me. That's why
especially.
I don't touch those things right now. You know, even though I don't satanize them or stuff like that, but there's no need.
Right. Yeah. There's you know, in Chinese medicine, we say we can look at your aura and be like, "Oh, your organ is doing this. It's echoing back and forth. Nothing is truly stagnated, right? Everything has an impulse, energetic resonance. So it all depends on it all depends on how uh, I guess the density you want to experience in terms of releasing a quote unquote parasite energetically or subconsciously. But I just want to share that, you know, even doing some of the breath work, even without any holds whatsoever, I have
Whoa.
witnessed
Wow.
people throw up. Like, yeah, I've witnessed people throw up. So, you know, a lot of people think that you need to focus on holds to get the most experience, but no, it's deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that. You know, just breathing in just that one conscious breath holds a million different ripples beyond your human comprehension. It really does. So, you know, there are some people that even when I work with people that have been traumatized with the breath work, yeah, we don't do any breath holds whatsoever, and they still feel like some type of huge release, but they
Yeah.
didn't get to they
Yeah.
didn't have to pass out, right? And it's a beautiful thing watching that too, of how subtle certain entities will leave the body without like
Yeah, I feel you. I
the
feel you. Like,
the what's the phrase? I don't know. The water compels you. The Christ compels you. Blah blah blah. And shooting the water at the
yeah,
person,
I've
and then it's
seen
like
that. You know, like the shaman doing stuff,
and
or even like some people that call themselves
yeah,
alchemists,
mm-hmm.
like throwing energies to the person, and the person be like, "Yo," like moving all around, and that was traumatized for me, even though I was not the one experiencing it. You know, so yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you about this so bad for real, and just want.
Yeah, going even to when I work with diabetics as well. You know, a lot of people think that that's a physical disease, but there's even studies that's talking about how there's some type of trauma is relating to people with diabetes. It's deep. So to see and witness their healing, so to speak, or their breakthroughs, you know, where they don't need the insulin as much anymore. They didn't even have that much of a traumatic thing. They'll have deeper dreams, so to speak, and I guess you could say it's weaving the any negative entity away in a subtle
More
but
lovely
more,
way, more
I
lovely
don't
way.
know,
Yeah,
easy, more lovely
yeah,
way.
you know,
Yeah,
like for
yeah.
it
There it
makes
is. Yeah.
sense because that's what will get them out quickly. You know, like love. There's like they resonate in that, so it really makes sense to me, and I'm very grateful for your explanation and for sharing your feels on this because I really needed it, kind of speaking. So yeah.
Likewise, brother. All right, I'm gonna have someone
Much
else
love,
wants to
man.
hop on.
Greetings from Costa Rica. Have a great